Tasting like a boss. I'm doing this for Patrick. Patrick is a friend of mine. He's told me that, hey, I got some good coffee coming in and he wanted to do espresso. And so he started asking me about espresso makers and things of that nature. And I started sending him stuff and he was asking me about it. And I thought, well, you know what? This is a perfect time to do a tutorial on it for those people who don't know how to do it. I am not a coffee expert anyway, but just give you an idea into what we do. So what we have over here, I don't always have all this stuff out. I just set out for you guys. I just use a DeLonghi espresso maker. This is $99. It's not really massively expensive. I like it for what it does, and it's done me right. I use a Cuisinart burr grinder. I like a burr grinder a lot more than, let's say, a spice mill, because spice mills, you can use them, you totally can, but it doesn't always cut the beans and grind the beans uniformly, and as a result, you may have some problems dispensing. If you want to use one, that's totally fine. A lot of these things are optional, but again, I'm not using a super high-end espresso maker. I'm not using a super high-end grinder, but these work just fine for me. If you want to use something less, that's great. If you want to use something more, that's great as well. Before I get into this, I will tell you that one of my most favorite ways of actually making espresso is the Bialetti, which of course is going to be done on the stovetop. Italian espresso making at its finest, but the reality is when you make it, this kind of has to be cleaned out, sorry guys, you're using a lot of coffee and that can be wasteful. You are making a lot more, so I really only use this for making Cuban coffee, except no substitutes when it comes to that, but I did want to at least give some love to the Bialetti. Okay, we'll set that to the side for now. This is cold brewing for later, so what do we have? Okay, well, I'm going to be using these, just this New York roastery from Starbucks, because I like these beans. You can use whatever beans you want. If you want to use an actual dedicated espresso bean, that's perfectly fine. But I do strongly suggest you have whole beans. Why? Well, because with whole beans, it's much more versatile. That's what the grinder is for. You can do fine to medium to coarse. Okay, now when you're doing, when you're grinding for espresso, you always want to go fine. You have to go fine. So if you get coffee that's already pre-ground, that's usually ground medium. So it's not really the proper thing for an espresso. At the same time, it could work just fine for a drip and maybe for cold brewing, but even on cold brewing, I actually like to do just medium, a little more coarse. I used to do coarse all the way. I found that's not the best way. But for espresso, we're gonna be turning it all the way to fine. And in this situation, I'm setting it to 4 because I'm gonna be using a double shot of espresso. So let that grind real quick. While we're doing that, I do want to talk about why I like the DeLonghi. It's making a lot of noise right now. Almost done. I want to talk about the DeLonghi real quick and say why I really do like this iteration more than my last one. My last one I had for quite a bit of time, but I had problems with the way they cleaned it, or how you could clean it, and it really became an issue. I'm really excited when I didn't like it at first because it was something new, right? But when I realized that the new version allows it to be taken apart so intricately, so you can have the screen nice and clean, you have your base here, click that here, and you have a nice gasket where everything can be cleaned nicely. And it actually has a little peg to give you guidance as well. I happen to like that. Some people may not, but it's really been kind of nice to get it really clean and feel like it's clean each time. You then take the screen, you have it here, the holes line up. Holes line up. Watch me not doing it right. Okay, like that. Clicks in, there you go. There's your base for this. Now, we're just gonna be sliding it in. Now, this next part you do not have to do, but I make coffee because I like it, and when I'm making it for myself like this, I like the process. I find it calming for me. Some people might think this is a little bit overkill what I'm about to do, but that's okay. So I did get some additional accessories. These are the accessories. I have this little, basically it's like acts as a funnel. Magnetically attaches. You can come in a little closer if you like. And I have my espresso here. Now, as you can see, there's some clumps there, right? And you know, really, does it really matter? Well, maybe not for everybody, but for me, because I like to be part of the process, I have this needle aerator. Allows me to go in, mix it, make sure there's no clumps. Is it really necessary? Can't you just make the espresso otherwise? Yeah, you can, but you know what? Again, I find it sort of calming. I feel like I'm doing something the way I perceive to be right. So again, you don't have to do that. That's what I choose to do. Next is another aspect of overkill, which is I do remove the funnel, the guide, and I have this little puck. Now this puck is nice because it evens it out. Gives me a nice little uniform compressed puck. And then because I don't need to do this, but I still do it because I came with the funnel, I have the press, I press down. So it's ready to roll. Put it in, connect it over. This is already heated up now. I could use the little espresso cup, but a couple years ago, boss, my wife, gave me this little coffee tasting thing, and it came with these little nice little glasses, and I've been using these ever since. Turn it here. Look at this mess. That's gonna be enough for me. We have it. Nice little double shot of espresso. Smells nice. Really good, nice and smooth. And again, for me, it's calming and fun. That's part of the experience. So hopefully that was helpful to my friend Patrick regarding things he can do. I'm sure some of you can give me tips to say to make me a better barista. That's totally fine. Maybe you think I'm doing overkill. That's great too. But if you enjoyed this and you want some more tips, at least the way I handle making the coffee and stuff, let me know. Maybe at some point we'll go back to the nitro press. On this counter, that's the most expensive thing is the nitro press by far. But this other stuff, again, people might be laughing at this, saying, oh, you're just using that type of equipment. But you know what? It works just fine as far as I'm concerned. And that's about it. So till next time, people, hit like, subscribe, and share, and keep tasting like a boss. Thanks so much.